Chapter 56, Mr. Wen Shao's 4 Size 2. Your mind power has a standard strength of 9.2. Not bad, not bad at all. You're stronger than many second-year students. While he was praising Zhu Tui, Wen Shao suddenly took out an even larger vacuum silver tantalum bottle from his cupboard and placed it in front of Zhu Tui. Zhu Tui was startled. "Teacher, this 5-gram bottle is already my limit." "I can tell." Wen Shao laughed. He pointed toward the larger vacuum silver tantalum bottle and said, "Look, you've almost reached the limits of the 5-gram bottle. If you continue to train with the 5-gram bottle, the mental load imposed on you by the bottle will not be enough." Under normal circumstances, students who had a mental strength of over 9.0 could apply to the school to use a higher grade 20-gram vacuum silver tantalum bottle for their training. You can use this 20-gram vacuum silver tantalum bottle for your daily training when you get back. Its testing intensity is 10.0 to 50.0. It should be able to last you a long time. Zhu Tui was a little touched when he heard that. What a good teacher! Mr. Wen was a good teacher. It was great that he was proactively helping the students solve their problems. "Thank you, Mr. Wen." "You're welcome. It's what I should do." "Oh, yes. Are you a student specially recruited by Professor and Zhao Soxui?" Wen Shao suddenly asked. "Yes, Mr. Wen." Zhu Tui nodded. "Yes, you are very talented in the area of mind power." "Oh, yes. Are you interested in coming to the Superbs department?" "As long as you are willing to come, I can apply for a special recruitment recommendation for you." Mr. Wen's words were startling. Zhu Tui was shocked at first, but he soon became arrogant. He felt a little smug. Look, a professor from the Mystery Branch's School of Enlightened Mind had long given him a special recruitment recommendation. Ku Qingshan, an associate professor from the School of General Senses, also had to give him a special recommendation. Currently, Professor Wen Shao, the vice chairman of the Mystery Branch's School of Superbs, had also specially recruited him. Getting poached by someone else was an exception. It could be said to be a coincidence that 2 people were fighting over him. But what if he was poached by 3 people? That could only mean one thing. He, Zhu Tui, was a genius. He was a genius. He was also very handsome. Under such a situation, it would be easy for Zhu Tui to become arrogant. However, even though he was arrogant, he was still rational. "Mr. Wen, I am very sorry. I am already on Professor N's side." "That's not a problem. As long as you are willing, I'll solve the rest of the problems." Mr. Wen sounded very domineering. Zhu Tui shook his head after he thought about it. He was very tempted by the School of Superbs. This was especially so for the principal's finger-flicking technique today. It was simply. However, a person had to be content. He had to be grateful. Up until now, and Zhao Soxui had really taken good care of Zhu Tui. The reason for the school's care could be attributed to Zhu Tui's talent in introspection. However, Zhu Tui remembered how Zhao Soxui had tried her best to save him when he was ambushed by the modified human, Ahu. Also, in the verification of their contribution points after the incident. And Zhao Soxui actively explained that Zhu Tui's steel ball had killed the modified human Ahu first. She had thrown her silver pills in after Ahu was killed by Zhu Tui. So Zhu Tui should take all of the contribution points. And Zhao Soxui was speaking the truth. However, in that kind of environment, they had been just a few milliseconds apart. Who could really explain it? If Zhu Tui did not have the mental senses, he might not have been able to tell who had made the contribution. If the contribution division cannot determine who the contribution points should belong to, it would most likely belong to Zhao Soxui. Who could prove it? Noon could prove it. The high school students and college professors announced that they had solved the same math problem. The process and time of the announcement were identical. Who would the public think it belongs to? Thus, Zhu Tui had to remember Zhao Xu's kindness when it came to contribution points. "Mr. Wen, I'm really sorry. Actually, my slightly stronger mind power is a result of Miss Anne's guidance these few days," Zhu Tui said frankly. Wen Shao's gaze shifted slightly under his fisherman's hat. He then let out a long sigh. "It's a pity. You might become powerful in the School of Enlightened Mind in the future, but the limits are too great." With the prospects of your mind power, the School of Superbs should be the place where you can display your potential. Zhu Tui knitted his brows slightly. He had a question. But teacher, I didn't activate any genetic base points for the superb type. I wouldn't have much potential even if I came, would I? Fool, I told you in class today. What is the most important foundation of the mystery branch? Mind power. That's right, mind power. There's no contest, Wen Shao began to explain. You can quickly enhance and activate the corresponding superb type genetic base points as long as you have powerful mind power. What a pity, Wen Shao let out another long sigh. His sigh made Zhu Tui suspect that he had chosen the wrong direction. However, it was impossible to change his tune so easily. Zhu Tui was not a fool, even though it was the 22nd century and students were free to choose their subjects within the college. However, he was a special recruitment recommendation. It would mean something different if he changed his subject. Zhu Tui was rather determined. Seeing that Zhu Tui had no intention of backing down, Wen Shao let out another long sigh. He let out a long sigh 3 times. Sigh, what a pity. How about this? You can try it out first. You can come and look for me if you can activate superb type genetic base points, Wen Shao suddenly suggested. Zhu Tui was confused. Wen Shao suddenly took out a dozen projection cards from his safe and placed them in front of Zhu Tui. Tell me, which superb type ability are you most interested in? He'll give you a unique training method of the School of Superbs. Go and try it out. See which direction the superb type ability can be activated in. Look for me if you do. It would be official then. Even if you don't want to switch schools, I can get you to study at the same time, Wen Shao said. Zhu Tui was shocked. There was such a good thing. This treatment, it was simply... Was he the Shasanon? 1. The vice chairman of the School of Superbs wanted to give him a secret training technique from the School of Superbs, and he was allowed to choose whatever he wanted. He even promised him that he could study both. Wouldn't he be a fool if he was not moved by these conditions? This Mr. Wen, is this true? Zhu Tui asked cautiously. Wen Shao glared at Zhu Tui. Do I look like I'm teasing you? Choose quickly. It's a pity about your talent. Wen Shao let out another long sigh. He sighed 4 times. Fire element. Zhu Tui was a little excited. When he was young, he would watch dramas where they could ignite a fire with the snap of their fingers, then they could burn money or light a cigarette. It was too cool. Fire element mages could also destroy the world. They were said to have the strongest output. He naturally had to try this. Yes, it's this. Wen Shao picked out a projection card and handed it over to Zhu Tui. Pick another one. Another one? There are differences in everyone's genetic talents, so you can try choosing more. Then let's go with the lightning element. The one that the principal showed is too good. Okay, this is for you. Choose another one. Water element or ice element. Zhu Tui felt that it would definitely feel great if he could freeze a beer at room temperature with the snap of his fingers. He could have ice and fire with a snap of his fingers. Okay, these two. Choose another one. Another one? You can try it out in all directions. You'll have a higher chance of success, Wen Shao said. Then is there anyone who can control the acceleration with metal? Zhu Tui thought about his bean flicking technique. It would definitely be very powerful if it was replaced with alloyed beans in the future. It would definitely be extremely powerful if it was combined with his mind power. Yes, metal affinity. It should be enough. Zhu Tui felt as though he was in a dream. Yeah, 5. That's about it. You can slowly try training with the secret technique when you get back. Come and look for me if there are no results. I'll give you other abilities. Thank you, Mr. Wen. Thank you very much. Zhu Tui felt that Mr. Wen was being too nice to him. All right, you can go now. You can look for me at the office if you have any problems with your training, Wen Shao said. After thanking Mr. Wen again, Zhu Tui carried the 20-gram vacuum silver tantalum bottle and the 5 superb type cultivation technique projection cards and was about to leave. Wen Shao suddenly stopped Zhu Tui before he left the room. He rubbed his hands together, his expression a little awkward. Zutui, don't tell Professor and Zhao Saxui about me giving you the superb type projection cards before there are any results. Do you understand? Zutui was a little startled. This, after all, I am poaching from her. Do you understand? Also, Professor and Zhao Saxui is very powerful among our teachers, do you understand? When Shao said, "Yes, I understand. I understand," Zutui nodded. Then go.